for many, well, not many, I know the number, it was 10 years to ask for business. And I told her, I don't need to ask for business. I just need to be good enough. I used to believe that if you were good enough, that was good enough.
Yeah, this for the people carrying weight they never show. Trying to hold a family together while they breaking low. For the ones who built themselves with no applause. Still standing tall after everything they lost. This ain't about attention or designer names. This is real life, real pressure, real change. The quiet victories, nobody claps for the long nights. Praying something opens that locked door. Everybody got a chapter full of pressure and scar. Some survived hell without becoming hard. Some learned strength through grief and survival. Some became hope in the middle of denial. And maybe
so speaking of marriage, relationships, I know a lovely couple by the name of Jesse and Lisa Ferrell. And if just judging by all of these books that they have authored together, I'm like, okay, I got some catching up to do. Michael, we've got to put together so successful and dynamic, you two. So welcome to the space.
Thank you.
We'll start there. Excited to get into the
have you here.
to have you here and have the conversation.
It's scary being around people as good as you two. I'm a little scared.
We appreciate
I'm scared a little bit.
From a veteran, of course, who's trying to make us blush. Okay. But we'll take all the compliments here on the platform. We'll start with just getting to know you two. So we'll start with Jesse. While you're a collective, you two individually are absolute powerhouses. So we say at Rehab Range, when you have a range card, it's the sum of all of your dynamic experiences, and that leads you to your purpose and your special sauce.
Yes.
So Jesse, we'll start with education. Bachelor's from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, also known as UNLV.
Yes, it is.
I would say Coach U, which is a certified life coaching certification that you got. Congrats on that.
Yes.
Professor of Hospitality and Leadership at UNLV. International keynote speaker, not just a speaker, but an international keynote speaker. Executive Director of Casino and Marketing, Bellagio. Okay, and for those who don't know Vegas, that's the Waterfall Hotel. That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
So a fabulous stint there. TEDx speaker last year, 2025.
Yeah.
Woo, woo.
Yeah.
We got to talk.
We've got
That's my dream.
Okay.
TEDx, my dream too. Co-authors, I called it out already, the books. I mean, come on. Co-author of How You Leave Them Feeling.
Yep.
Ooh, How You Leave Them Feeling.
Yeah.
I love that. And it is your foundation for inspiring relationships. 2-time award-winning authors, by the way. So if you have not seen that book, we're going to get into a little bit about it, or read that book. We're going to get into it for the show. And with that, tell us, Lisa, Jesse, I love meeting both of you. And Lisa, it started with you.
Yes.
So we were at a networking event. So again, networking is still one of those things that people are getting out and doing again. We strongly recommend it. And Lisa, your own individual success. You're a master success coach.
Yes.
Ooh. And strategist. Been doing that almost 20 years. Coach U graduate certification as well. Over 33 years in broadcast, radio, and television, sales and marketing. Okay, buckle up. I'm going to have to really be ready for this conversation, y'all. And then creator of a laser coaching, creator of the laser coaching model called Lisa Listen.
Yes.
All right, Lisa Listen. I love that. And of course, co-author of this amazing book that you've won 2 awards for. So
and 2 card decks.
Yeah, and 2 card decks.
I want to hear about the card. I can't wait to hear about
we
the
got
card
to
decks.
get into the card decks.
Yeah.
And so together, you two do certified coaching programs called the Color Code Personality Assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. You are developers for the interactive workbook and card decks. So we'll get into the details about those. Over 250 hours of combined coaching. I mean, I don't think I've done...
I think it's 250,000.
1,000 hours of
Yes.
combined...
Yeah, not just 250.
Not 250.
As a coach, I was super impressed by
Well,
that.
and that came from
Super,
the 10,000 hour rule. That wasn't because we couldn't wait to tabulate our hours.
Yeah.
We actually got that concept from Malcolm Gladwell, and he spoke to that, and I had not heard it before. And the 10,000 hour rule, basically, they went and they spent time with executives, doctors, lawyers, athletes, actors, all across all different type of career paths, and they wanted to determine what it took for them to become masters at their craft or art.
Yeah.
And they discovered it was about 10,000 hours. I thought, well, do I have my 10,000 hours?
Yeah.
So we created a master time tracker to track all of our education, all of our speaking, all of our coaching, all of our learning, and it's broken into 6 different groups, and that gets us to, as it turns out, 136,000 hours for me and 130,000 for Lisa, and so that's where it came from. And so we keep it going. I built it. Why not keep it going?
And my apologies. I missed that 250. I don't think I've done 250 hours.
250,000.
But that's why you missed it.
Thousand.
Listen, if you ain't doing 250,000 or something, up your game.
That's the only reason why you missed it, because the number didn't come to you yet.
Right.
Yes. So you have to be experts in this,
Yeah.
to say the least. I hope by the end of my life, I'll get to that many hours of something. And so, Jesse, kick it off. Tell us about your journey to coaching.
I'll make it really quick and brief, and then you can ask. You two ask brilliant questions, so I'm not concerned that the audience and the listeners won't get great questions from you, because they will. Because it was hard for us, for our conversation we had with the 4 of us. It was hard for all of us to turn it off.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really. You had things that you had to do and commitments. So did we, but none of us wanted to turn it off.
Yeah.
So to answer
We
your
both love
question,
to talk.
right? But you say you both want to talk, and you do. But
We
you
love to talk.
But you also love to learn.
Learn
Yes.
and listen.
You have
by the way.
both. You have all 3 of those. So I did not see this for myself for most of my life. As you said, hospitality is something I spent some considerable time, 36 years, and the second degree was in hospitality because I did not want to be a starving artist. The first degree was fine arts. I enjoyed that, and that's one of my gifts, but I don't want to be a starving artist.
Yeah.
That's why I pursued the other, and then I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing, right up until a situation happened I won't name the name of the place because I don't want to look like I'm speaking bad about one of them.
Yeah.
But it was a
Them people.
Yes, them people. Multi-billion-dollar facility in Las Vegas, a hospitality facility, and I knew that if they came in and the 21 executives at my level, I knew if they were going to terminate 18, I'm one of the 3 that gets to stay, not from ego, just from doing the work and having the experience and being very, very close to the vice president. I'm in. Well, they came in, they fired 3, kept 18. I was one of the 3 they fired.
Yeah. They got it wrong. Did y'all see the books?
Well, we wouldn't.
Thanks for the redirection.
The books wouldn't be here if I didn't get fired.
Right.
Because I asked myself one question that I'd never asked myself in that termination, while I was being terminated, not after. I said, if I'm getting fired for doing the job, I must not be doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
And then I said, well, why am I here on this earth?
Right.
For what purpose?
Yeah.
Right.
When I went to discover that, it took some time. I did discover that. It was being terminated that made me ask a question that I had never asked before. Why am I here? And then what are my best gifts and talents? What is my purpose? When I went to discover that, it was an amazing discovery. And I asked 15 people, what are my best gifts and talents? And the first one, I thought for sure he was smoking something illegal. Because I'm like, what he said, I'm thinking, there's just no way.
It wasn't reefer.
There's no way. It had to be some illegal stuff.
Right.
And he was an Italian Canadian.
Yeah.
The second person saying, and I varied it up. I spoke to colleagues, clients, former clients, relatives, friends. I mixed up that 15, pot of 15. All 15 said exactly the same thing.
So that means you were showing up authentically.
Yep.
100%.
There's no way you can show up to different. You were giving them the Jesse experience.
But I didn't even know that it was an experience.
That's when it's authentic.
They said guiding, directing, and leading others. I said, well, can you make a living doing that?
Right.
I started looking online. Holy smokes, you can make a pretty darn good living doing that. And then I created a strategy to move from corporate America to being a professional speaker and coach. And that's it came from the termination, or it would have never happened.
And today you are crushing it. And one day we're going to put their name on a billboard with the middle finger sign, and we'll let the people know, don't work there.
I want to be like you when I grow up, just so you know. Yeah.
All right. So
Well, you talk about being fired on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that was after we had been working for roughly the business for 12 years, and that termination on Christmas Eve. What are your thoughts about that one?
Well, I always talk about how do you respond versus react.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important because it sounds like when you got this feedback, it was like, what am I going to do with this, right? Am I going to be active or will I react to the thing? But getting fired on Christmas Eve, talk about responding versus reacting.
I like that. So, and I'll toss the ball to Lisa on that.
And
too.
then, because I want to hear Lisa's thought because we got to get into you and your amazing coaching and how you moved into that.
Of course.
And I'd like to sneak into her a little bit because it sets up to answer your question. Lisa spent most of her life in sales. So, and she had to do it as a single mother. She'll tell you her story, however you guys get into that. But so I don't want to step in the middle of that.
Don't steal her thunder.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And so she had been telling me for not many, I know the number, it was 10 years, to ask for business. And I told her, I don't need to ask for business. I just need to be good enough. I used to believe that if you were good enough, that was good enough.
Nope.
Then I watched a program. Now, Lisa's been telling me, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
Because I know if you're good, we got this.
Yeah.
And when we got fired on Christmas Eve like that, I had just watched this program called 20 Feet from Stardom. It's a great documentary.
20 feet from stardom, okay?
Yeah. And it's about the backup singers that these lead singers like Sting and
Luther Vandross and Rolling Stones.
Yeah. They were all saying they would not be who and where they're at without their backup singers. They would not be successful.
Yeah.
But the backup singers were sending their kids to their parents to raise them because they couldn't afford them because they weren't getting paid enough, even though they're holding up the frontliners.
Yeah.
Good enough was not good enough.
Right. Yes. And so we should have called you back then. Jesse don't listen.
Right.
And Lisa,
Right.
And Lisa listened and it was telling you for 10 years. So shout out to the marriage side of this is the hard-headed husband.
You should have called me Jesse. Jesse talk smack. Because I was just talking smack.
Okay, so Jesse was talking smack instead of following thy wife.
Yeah.
As what we a lot to do. But
now insert Lisa.
Now from Lisa.
Right? This is where Lisa inserts?
Yeah.
Yes, but so I did come to her and apologize to her.
Okay.
After watching 20 Feet from Stardom.
Yeah.
And then when we got fired, I came to her and I said, listen, we just got fired by a multi-billion-dollar company in Vegas again. Yeah. I said, I'm going to go into the office. If you don't do me a favor, let me just stay in there for an hour or 2 or 3. I'm not sure. I have a thought. So I went in there and I opened up a spreadsheet and I wrote possibilities in the middle of the spreadsheet. And I started to think about who I could ask for business and for opportunity and I'd never borrowed money from anybody for loans. And I started creating this thing called
that's the hard one for me.
It was hard. That's hard for us.
Yeah.
Not me, us. I was just as hard. And we had a $20,000 tax bill that was due. We had $6,000 to our name, period, for everything, not just for the bill.
Yeah.
And we lost our biggest client.
Wow. Talk about back against the wall.
Yeah. So
Lisa.
Yes.
Tell us your journey. First of all, we know women in sales is not always what we see.
No.
So shout out to a fellow saleswoman.
And especially in broadcast,
And
where it's really kind of a man's world and a good old boy network.
Absolutely. But tell us your journey. What led you to sales and in an industry that's very difficult?
Well, what led me to sales is I was a buyer on the other end, and I saw these people making a lot more money. And when I was a single mom with 3 kids, I'm like, I better try this thing called sales because I can see them making a heck of a lot more money than I was making as a buyer.
Okay.
So I went into my first sales job, which was in radio, which was scary as hell. And I hated every day of the first year of sales. And to the first day of the first year, everything started turning around and, I started closing deals. And when you get on that wave and you start writing, it really gets in your blood and you just love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed in that here in this town for 22 years. Wow. And then when the digital age came, things were no longer really fun and sexy because it was just too far dispersed to make your client's schedule effective.
Right.
So I felt like I was in a timeshare and selling people stuff that I knew that wasn't going to work.
Right.
That's not in integrity with who I am.
Stay away from them timeshares, y'all.
I actually have a timeshare. Don't talk bad about time. I love mine.
So
Difference of opinions on rehab range.
That's why you two roll together well.
We do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to figure. I've heard of these things called a life coach. And I wanted a male, so I was looking for a male. At that time, I was in Toastmasters, and there were all kinds of female coaches around, but I really wanted a male coach.
Why a male?
Because I had gone through 2 failed marriages and a rebound relationship, and I wanted to be very honest about what I had gone through.
Okay.
And I'll get to the female part later, because I ended up having to have a female. And so I looked for the general manager of the TV station, said, I've got just the guy for you. So I call and I leave a message and I said, hey, Mike, highly recommends you. I needed you yesterday. Please give me a call. He calls back and he said, well, I'm not taking on new clients at this time. And I said, well, I don't even know if you're a match for me. I need to meet you. I need to ask you questions. I need to interview you before you go put me on any list.
He had a waiting list.
Yeah. Good job overcoming that objection.
That's the goal, to have a waiting
for an
list for my
answer.
coaching.
Thank you.
Moving through it.
So we get together. It was Jesse was my coach.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, everything that
Jesse was your coach?
Jesse was my coach.
Okay.
Oh, we
okay.
So yeah,
mixed
it
Okay.
gets juicier.
Crossing the coaching line.
No, not at the moment. I believe in a separation between church and state,
That's
girl.
actually one of the ethics that you can't do in coaching.
But
Yep.
this is some time back, not at the moment.
Yeah, that's fine.
We getting into the board
details.
version.
So
I want these
he
details.
said, I've listened to what your wants and needs are, and all of that is right in my wheelhouse. I think I'm going to go back and I'll look at, where I can move you up and fit you in. And needless to say, we started coaching together. And after a year of coaching together, he goes, you've done some amazing work. He said, I think you would be the poster child for Just Talk, because I kept wanting it faster and faster and faster and give me more, give me more, give me more.
Yeah.
And at the end of that year, he said, I think you've done some amazing work. I think you're ready to find what that man looks like. Tall, dark, and handsome. Is he have a car?
I never said
kind
tall,
of
dark, and handsome. She always said that.
I threw that in.
We appreciate it, child. We know.
I'm just saying.
What does his bank account look like? Is he a health nut? Does he work out? Is he a family man? Does he drink? Does he smoke? All things.
Can you
Right.
scout for me, please?
Right?
Listen,
My show needs some support.
I said, I have a list of 54 things that I've been looking for in a man, as a matter of fact. So, most people have like maybe a dozen.
Yeah.
And a couple were an oxymoron, but he fit everything but a couple things on that list. And, if it's an 80-20 rule, then we're in business.
Yeah. I'm more
So-
like a 90-10, but but I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So he said that, and I said, that man would be you, but I meant that man would be somebody like you. And I went, oh, wow, wait a minute. That man is you. And the rest is history.
Love it. Love it. So a total alignment between you two.
Yeah.
And Jesse, I poked a little bit of fun about the cross.
No, but it's a
but
good.
this sounded like an evolution, and also it's a good story to know, because tell us about, on the coaching side of things, how things came to be. Pick us up.
Yeah. And what you felt when I said that to you.
Well, it was a shock, because I wasn't expecting that. And obviously she's attractive, so who wouldn't be attracted to her?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I always believe in the separation between church and state. I grew up in hospitality, and literally every place I worked, that separation between church and state was not evident. And I will not cast judgment on people for the choices they make, but I wasn't going to make those kind of choices. So I didn't want to cross the line over into an intimate connection with her when she was my client. I'm serving my client. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
So that was something that had to strategically be timed and worked out appropriately.
Fired me as a client.
So
There's a will, there's a way.
yeah.
Yes.
But what was your other question?
Just in terms of meeting and the journey and values and alignment, just how did you know? How did you, what was that moment where you realized, okay, this is much bigger than a coaching relationship?
Well,
And
Lisa,
that we can not just be in marriage together, but also building a business is a whole nother dynamic.
Lisa brought, she was the one to bring it to each of our attention first. But once she brought that to our attention, it was actually very clear and seamless.
Yeah.
It was not difficult or challenging or hard at all. And we started designing things to build an absolutely sustainable relationship beyond anything we'd ever heard. We have something we call house rules.
House rules.
Yeah,
Ooh,
you
give
can
us
call
the
them.
nugget.
You can also call them agreements because some people don't like rules
Okay, I don't.
because it is an agreement.
Yeah.
My husband likes rules.
Either way, so let's call them agreements. So house agreements.
Okay.
And our goal is this: each of us have to have at least one house agreement, and you can't have more than 3.
Ooh.
And the house agreement is non-negotiable.
Okay.
Okay.
You tell the other what it is. They don't get to say, well, no, let's do half of that. No, whatever she says as that house rule or house agreement, that's what it is.
Ooh.
And I have
Do
to,
you want to share?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
3.
But
We'll
there's
just
one
share
that's
one.
absolute.
no,
Right.
no. You have to have at least one.
You have to
but
have
you
one.
can't have more
but
than
you
3.
Can't have more
you
than
can't more
three.
so you can
Okay.
manage it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So
right.
one of Lisa's house rules, tell them your morning house rule.
Oh my goodness.
I like to just run a bath, do my daily prayers, meditation, set my intentions, and I don't want any words. I just want to come around and come about. And when I come out of the room, I'm ready to rock and roll. I don't want any long conversations or, what do we do about this or that? I just need that hour to come around and I am good to go.
I
We
love
gotta
that.
talk, Lisa. I feel like you're my inner person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I need
Michelle,
someone to understand
and
this.
Michelle, I'm telling you, we
So
should be
I'm like opposite of this. I'm the parrot in the morning.
no, but that's fine unless it doesn't work for the other person.
Right.
So
Yes.
I 100% honor that. I have never glitched it and started into stuff that was too early for the camp. I get it. So
This is
Yeah.
alignment. You guys.
exactly.
See, this is the difference between being married a few years and some decades because you're speaking my Dion's language right now.
Well,
And he would be
but-
like, oh my gosh, this does exist.
And the third time is a charm because when we were talking, when we met networking, I said, "Oh no, you've got to meet my husband. No, you've got to meet mine." I said,
I'm like-
"Okay, well, let's be comparing because he is the best."
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it. Well-
and those opposites attract.
And one of my agreements is, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to seem a little bit stereotypical, but it's not intended to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
But oftentimes, when you talk about the nature of a lot of women, not all,
Yeah.
and the nature of a lot of men, not all, women tend to be more emotionally mature than men for the most part, not
no,
always.
but that's my experience.
But right,
I call that the ivory fact.
right. And so oftentimes we get into relationships, and when they're good, we expect to read each other's mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't say this, but we do it. We expect you to know what I want, and I'm
Right.
expect to know what you want.
Right.
But you never had a conversation.
Right.
So one of my house rules is if there's something going on with Lisa, she needs to identify not what it is, because she may not know what it is. She needs to identify I'm in a space. She either needs me to stand down, take a walk, take a vacation, get a room, or she needs to take a drive, whatever it needs, she needs to bring that to my attention, and I will honor whatever she needs. Don't make me read your mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
We do this thing in relationship where we're reading each other's mind and we don't even have the conversation.
I love that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I love that you say that because I
Yeah.
always say, if you don't tell me a thing, I can't show up differently for you.
Yeah.
And I had to actually tell my dad this. I was
Yes,
like, let me tell you how I need you to engage with me.
exactly.
Right.
I don't need you to parent me. I don't need your advice. Sometimes I just need your ear.
Exactly. That's
And-
it.
Yeah, and I'm the person that likes to tell. This is how I operate. I'm very direct. I love clarity, and I think a lot of people can't handle that. They have to label it as something. I'm just being who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's very healthy. So I
100%.
love
it's,
this.
It's brilliant, and it works every time. I wasn't going to give you more, but I want to give you one more house
Okay,
rule, 'cause
one
this
more.
one's way
no, I
cool.
want the other house rule. This is good.
Well, no,
Yeah.
we're not going to give them all to you because we don't want to bore you.
Right.
We can
We
go to
gon-
lunch and give
we
you
gon-
some
No,
more.
No, one more. I got to hear this one. I feel like it's gonna be juicy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
So let's go back to Lisa asking me to ask.
Okay.
So we were on a tour. We had a speaking engagement in Vancouver, Canada, and then we had what was that? Not Yellowstone. Where was that we went?
It was,
Okay,
not Yellowstone, Yosemite.
Yosemite.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And they were literally one day apart. So in Canada, jump on the plane, then go to Yosemite,
Yeah.
and we're about ready to take on this big client, and we're there to impress them. So it's a big deal.
Right.
And so we're getting off the plane, getting on the others, and Lisa was on her computer, but she's got range.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to her.
That's why
I'm
we're
talking
here.
to her, and she's, yeah, okay, yeah, And I said, did you hear what I said? She said, what? I said, you didn't hear a word I said. She said, well, I was trying to, because we're trying to get, while I got the internet before we get on the plane. I said, okay. Now I know what it feels like when you're asking me to ask and I'm acting like I don't get it.
Yeah.
So we created a house rule from that experience called switch.
Okay.
And here's how it works.
Yeah.
If she sees me doing something or not doing something that she knows
Right.
I need to do or need to stop, all she has to say is switch. If she says switch from what you're doing to what you need to be
It's
doing.
your safe
Okay.
word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to, switch reminds me of something very
It's something very different.
Sorry.
in the culture.
You can pick a different
So,
word.
I don't know what.
Listen, if switch ain't your word, you was one of them kids.
You
Well,
just switch your mindset from
but-
where you're at
but
because
I
you're
get
causing
it,
trouble.
But I
Yeah.
get it. So,
Yeah.
So you
I
can
love this.
you can
Yes.
call it broom.
You can call it broom.
Okay, whatever you want to call
Well,
it.
But I like switch. It's like a click. But
Well,
I understand it might have different meanings for different folks.
Well,
but,
so what happened was what I was saying is I'm seeing that you're not getting it.
right.
She was seeing that I wasn't getting it, but she didn't know what to do to get me to get it.
Yeah.
So it's switch.
It's switch.
So if she says that, then I have to, my only response can be, thank you. Yes, I've switched. Or I don't know what you want me to switch.
Right.
So then she needs to tell me what it is.
Right.
Once I understand what it is, I don't get to argue. I get to say, all right, I've made the switch.
Gotcha.
Love
well,
that.
I'm going to switch really quickly because we want our audience to know what you're working on, but it's a two-part. It's a two-parter. So what you're working on, you have to promote. And I know you have this thing about word of mouth and not going out doing all this heavy marketing. How are you talking about the things that you're doing right now and what's coming up for you? I want to hear about what's coming up. But how are you doing that in a world that is all about seeking attention? How do you do your marketing, like to be super genuine and authentic in your space?
We do the same. And Lisa, let's play together on this one.
Yeah.
I'll start and you just toss the ball back and forth on this one. We do a concept that the best speakers use called a YOU focused perspective.
Okay.
When we're connecting with people, we don't make it about me, I, ours. We make it about you, yours. We focus on you. We do that from our speaking, we do that from our coaching, and we do that. And we don't, there's nothing wrong with traditional networking. We're not a fan of calling it networking. We changed the name. We call it relationship marketing.
Relationship marketing. And Lisa, you have a sales background. How does that play into building your coaching enterprise?
Brilliant question.
Well, when I joined the business after I retired in 2013 from broadcasting, that's what I did. I rolled up my sleeves and I said, "You're missing marketing pages." He was doing a one and done. He wasn't asking for year-long contracts. I put year-long contracts together. I tripled the rates. And the business has never done better. So having that sales and marketing background was very helpful for our business because we both came from a marketing background and understand what it takes to make it all come to life.
Team, let me sneak
But
there.
you were helping make the money.
She was, but when you say make the money and she says better, our audience doesn't know what that means. Let me tell you what that means.
Yes, explain.
Let me tell you what that means. The piece she just said that she started to add to the game increased our revenues over 400%,
Wow.
more than any of our previous best years.
Right.
That's a big deal.
That's the power of sales. Yeah.
I'm just
And the
saying.
power of
Sales?
asking.
Over
The power of
5%.
asking.
Right. If you don't have sales, you don't have a business. If you don't ask for the business, you won't have a business.
There was this one client that we served in Houston, and we served this client, and that's the first one that we offered something beyond the full day workshop that we did for them. They bought the offer. They stayed with it for 9 years, and in 9 years, that attributed to 1.5 million
Wow.
from one ask.
1 hour
Your revenue.
Yeah.
Yes.
for one
Hey.
contract.
And I don't usually
Yeah.
talk money, but I want you to know the power of
No,
this.
I mean, but I think it gives the impact.
It gives
though.
the
People,
impact.
Yes.
Getting seven
people
figures
like to hear
Yeah.
about money.
Come
The
on.
reality
Right.
of it, right?
and how to make it.
And how to make it, and that is the impact that your work is doing.
The
Yeah,
offer
I mean-
we gave them, they bought every single facet of the offer.
Wow.
We coached the owner. We
I
coached the
know why.
owner's
You
team.
guys are amazing.
It got to the point, it really got to the point where the brother, like if his afro wasn't already gone, that, That smack was going back.
Wait, did you have hair when this all started?
On the back and on the sides. No. Before I started, I had
You
it in
was
the
George
front.
Jefferson it?
Yeah.
I said that shit's got to
We
go.
moving on up.
That part, Lisa.
Right.
I'm that
See,
one.
that's why y'all married, because your wife telling you the truth.
Yeah.
I'm
If
just saying.
If it ain't what it needs to be, we gonna let you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Unbelievable. So we were serving like 6, 7 different facets. We got to the point where the single leader that we sold, we were serving 54 people inside of that company.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a
for
lot.
one
That is a
company.
lot.
For one company.
Yeah.
And it sounded like they needed your help.
Success coaching, personal professional development coaching,
Wellness coaching.
Say it.
Wellness coaching.
Wellness
during COVID.
coaching, separate from all the others.
I think we see a partnership.
Yeah.
We're going to go into partnership?
We're doing something
We're-
because we're creating retreats and
Yeah.
we need you there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
Because your experiences are vast.
Well, let me just
Yeah.
ask you, can we ask for the business right now online? can the
We
brother...
got living
True
proof.
salesperson. So you didn't talk Jesse
Done and done.
a little too well.
I didn't even consult with her,
She didn't even
but
take
done
me-
and done.
We have
But you-
this rule. My husband and I have this rule too. And in any good relationship, you got to bring secret deals and secret conversations into the chambers.
Yeah.
You know, in the chamber, you know, when
yeah.
the lawyers come up and not everyone's supposed to be listening.
But
she
Ivory-
just did the
but Ivory,
violation.
let me-
Hold on, we're going to call this work rules.
No,
Yeah.
We call those
What
biz
meet,
rules.
meet podcast rules.
What's our safe word?
Our safe word is going to be,
touch.
well, I was going to be more explicit than that.
Okay.
Let's start with touch just where I can.
We'll come up with something.
But
Okay,
you should have seen
okay.
the look on her face. It wasn't the words that came out of her mouth when she told us we were already hired. It was the look. She's like, yeah,
Right,
we're doing this.
right,
We're
right.
doing this.
Right.
And I know she's gonna be like, we
No,
are.
But we love each other. So sometimes we'll give each other the, okay, girl, I'm glad you got that done.
Yeah.
And the other days it'll be like, B, please, if you don't calm it down.
We fight well. We
Very
fight well like we don't fight.
Right.
But we fight.
Right.
You know, it's like that silent fight.
Yeah,
But
You call it a fight, but you know what it sounds like? It sounds like a very credible argument.
it is.
But we never. It's no.
It's not an
You're not
argument.
arguing, but
We
you're making
state
a
our
point.
Position,
Yes.
But here's the thing: we state our position, and we say, we try. We find a common ground. But at some point, we got to make a decision. And I say so Michelle's more risk adverse,
Yeah.
and I'm more like, it's
is
going
true.
down.
Yeah.
So I
I'm
don't care
also
what we
older.
do.
The older
Yeah.
I've gotten, the less risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah.
Right.
Ivory's about 10 years younger than me.
Right.
So she's like, no, we're going to jump off the building and we'll figure it out.
We'll get our
after we get to the
parachutes
ground.
later.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, wait, no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
But back to you guys. It's not about us. We got to get back
I'd
to
be
you.
like, you got a parachute. What, if you use
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
parachute, what's the problem? So
I'm with you, girl.
So right. So balanced partnership retreats. We
Yes.
might get into that. But tell us about just in practice. So if someone has you coaching 54 people in their company, what is your secret sauce? What led to getting that size contract? What did you do in practice? What stands out to you?
It's really how you leave them feeling. I'm not kidding. I'm not just trying to go back to the book. The how we got from 16 to 18 to 16 to 18 plus 54 was there was another manager within the company that was very close to the owner when the owner was seeing what was going on as a sign of the times. They talked about wellness, and they needed to figure out what that looked like. The manager said, we need to have Jesse and Lisa do this because they're amazing at what they do. I never, because the owner had never even thought about it.
Right.
It was how we left someone else in the firm feeling that she said that to the partner, and the partner brought it to us, and it was done deal.
And
Love it.
most of our business is word of mouth and referral based.
Yeah.
And how we
More
leave them
than-
feeling.
But
Because
I
I've-
like that about how you leave them feeling. My grandmother always said, it's about you leave people better than you find them.
Yes.
Right.
and by the way, that's the nature of the how you leave them feeling concept. If you never read any of the books, just take what Michelle just said and leave people in situations better than you found them.
Yeah,
And guess what? When
And leave them wanting more.
before someone becomes a client, leave them wanting more. Before someone becomes a client, we will give you our very best. You know what when we're giving you our very best, you know what they think? Well, geez, if I got that and I'm not even paying, what else is in there?
Right.
It's an experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
You ride a roller coaster for the thrill.
Thank you.
And people underestimate first impressions.
100%. You never get a second chance at a first impression.
You never get a second chance. So when you connect with folks, it could be, listen, on the other side of your hard work and connecting, you could be getting $1 million contracts.
Yep.
100%.
If you just make that first impression the right one.
But you also have to be willing to do the work.
Willing to do the work.
And not just work. You need to figure out what that is.
Right.
Yep.
We go from intention, we go from expectation. We like to know exactly how to fine tune, and we customize every single coaching session
Yep.
and every single speaking engagement for that client. Ain't about us.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's about you.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
So you've created your own lane, and you've given us a little snippet behind the scene. Lisa, I want to hear from you. You went from journalism, you were doing radio sales, and then this lovely partnership of coaching formed. Talk about what that felt like, or how did you move into, we're going to do how you leave them feeling as a book, like creating your own lane and not worrying about what other people are doing, because you clearly know how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jesse actually started with the first book of How You Leave Them Feeling, which is for personal and professional success. All of our books that are titled How You Leave Them Feeling, and the book that we co-authored together is Your Inspiration for Inspiring Relationships, which has the interactive workbook. And we figured we wrote the book, but do the workbook to make it really easy for people to do the work, right? Now, not every exercise in there is for everybody, but certainly something is going to resonate with you, and it's going to make your life better.
Is it related to those cards?
And from that book, we wrote 2 card decks. One is for inspiring relationships, and the other one
play a game with it.
Is the color code personality assessment with How You Leave Them Feeling. So if you're sitting, and they're great workshop or retreat starters, icebreakers. And
again,
let me tap
partnership forming.
Let me tap on Lisa's brilliance. So the first 2 books I wrote before Lisa. The third book we teamed up because we believed the world needed that message from a couple, from business owners, from blah blah blah. So we teamed up for that. But Lisa had the brilliance for the fourth book is the workbook companion to this, because if you read this third book, it says inside of it where you can go up to a website and download all the stuff. But Lisa's idea was people may not download it, so let's make it presentable for them. So we went and she got the idea. She took the first shot at the first draft of this, and then we teamed up to do it together. But instead of having to go to the website and to do something online that way, it's all right here. And it's collaborative with that book.
I love that. And you said about the world, as to what the world should expand. Can you tell us about this globe that is sitting here?
So we were having our conversation.
Yep.
And Michelle came with, said, if you can touch it and see it. I go, no, I can't believe she just said that. So I had this behind me. And
in our pre-conversation, we
Right.
chatted it up. It wasn't like prepping. This is all organic.
We were just having a conversation. But she literally said all the exact words like she was reading our mind. So I pulled the globe out. I said, listen, when I was leaving corporate America, going into building my own business, and I'd never done that before, I wanted something that was the glue to let me know that I could be successful, not just think it or want it or hope it. So, and I knew I wanted to go from being 4 walls like Hilton, Harrah's Entertainment, Bellagio, Mirage, Riviera, blah, 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 all those places I work.
Right.
Those are 4 walls. I want to serve the globe.
Right.
I want to touch the globe.
Right.
So I want a global touch. Oh, globe. So I got this globe and I bought 3 of these, one for my car and the cup holder in the car, one for my desk at work and one for my desk at home. And my saying was exactly what Michelle said. It says, and I would take it whenever something was challenged and I was wondering how I was going to get across or make it or elevate, I'd pick this up and I would spin it and I would touch different points on this globe. And I would say, if I can touch it and see it, I can do it and be it.
I love that. And just on a deeply personal level, you've been married a long time.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
That's a long time. Your range, your backgrounds are very different. It's obvious.
Correct.
To the people here being African American and being white. Tell us how that has showed up through what is your journey? 20 years is a long time to cover that. What has that experience been like for you, include personally and then also professionally when you walk into rooms?
And is the question in reference to the fact that she obviously comes from a different background than I come from in terms of maybe
how does the audience receive you?
Yeah,
based on the fact that she's got light color skin and I have dark skin.
You know that there's spaces, and we're talking really authentically, and you said nothing was off limits, but I think it would serve our audience to understand you've gone over some years, 20 years, and times have changed. It's non-existent probably now, but when you first started out 20 years ago, there was a different feel about interracial relationships. Now you're in business together. And how did the room receive you?
You're going to love the answer. And even if you don't, I'm going to talk to you off camera until you do love it.
I love this confidence.
So here it comes.
We want to hear it.
If you don't love it now, you will love it before I'm done with the two of you.
Yes.
I'm going to start with it's a two-part to that. The first part is I grew up in northern Nevada. Reno the first 5 years, in a small town called Hawthorne the next 12 years. And 5,000 people, cats and dogs. So it wasn't a lot of people. So that's where I grew up. I grew up in a predominantly white environment. And so I say that because it has something to do with how I'm speaking as well. And I wasn't going to let anybody define me, even though it was very prejudiced and very racial where I grew up, both in Reno and in Hawthorne. It was extremely.
Right.
So much so I got called into the principal's office when I was 15, and he called me, told me to shut the door. He says, do you know why I asked you to come into my office? I said, no, sir. He said, I want you to know you're the smartest black kid we have in this school.
And what did that do for you?
Well, I don't know what it would have done for a lot of people, but I said, thank you.
Right.
I said, but I'm going to be leaving your school in 2 years' time, and I don't compete against black people. I'm happy to be number 10 in my graduating class, not number 1 of all black people. That was my way of saying, you don't define me by color.
Yeah. And how does this experience lead you to Lisa?
And that's why but see, that's the background. So that was, I got that foundation in a very growing up in a very racial environment, and choosing to not let you define me, I get to define me.
Right.
As a young person, all the way up to adult. So now with Lisa, we went on this date with this, I don't want to give you too many details because I don't want to roll this person under the bus, but
that person,
that person, and that person spoke multiple languages. He had light skin like you, and he had a background of mixed background, we'll call it. Okay. And he was with a Caucasian lady, and they were sitting across the counter, Lisa and I, and he looked across me. He says, "Listen," he says, how do you feel being in an interracial relationship, and how do you handle it?" Yeah. I looked at him and I said, "I don't." He says, "What do you mean?" Because he's got this white lady next to him, and he's got light colored brown skin like you.
Right.
I said, that's for people like you and the rest of the world, if they choose to do that, to place me in a box. I don't see myself as being in an interracial relationship. I see myself being in a relationship with a beautiful woman, right? Highly intelligent and very beautiful. That's who I'm in love with. I don't give a crap what color her skin is.
And that is why you have range. So speaking of that, tell the people, how do we get a hold of you? What books do you have? Thank you for sharing your story today. But
where can you get your book? Where can you get your book?
Can we hype
your social media handle?
You can go to JessTalk, JessTalk.com, or LisaListen.com. Okay. We sell them on the website, and the advantage of doing it that way is we can personalize an autograph to you if you buy it from us on our website, or of course you can go to Amazon, and it's also on Audible.com, so that you can feel like Jesse and Lisa is driving in the back seat with you.
And what social media are you on?
Same, Jess Talks Speaking and Coaching, and Lisa Listen, and of course Jesse Ferrell. And
you mean like Facebook,
yeah, like, and share, TikTok, Facebook, share you on YouTube,
LinkedIn, YouTube,
Instagram,
and
it's Jess Talk.
Facebook.
We have individual by our names or by the businesses. Jess
Love
Talk,
that.
and
we'll make sure we put up on the screen so that our audience can follow you. Absolutely. I want to thank you for being here. We could talk to you for
like and subscribe to all of their channels, please. You will get the game, both the professional game.
Oh, can you hold up the cards, Lisa? Because I think we want to show the cards. Yeah.
So this one is the one that's intertwined with the color code assessment, and this one is 52 ways to build lasting love.
And and can we get the house rules cards? Because I think those were really good.
That's their next production.
No, that's the next production. Good call.
Next production.
By the way, that's only be 3 cards.
Thank you all for joining us on We Have Range. This has been amazing. Thank you, Jess and Lisa. Thank you. Your range is exhibit in all the work that you've done. We can't wait to see what else. Subscribe to the channel. We Have Range. Thank you. See you on the next time.
Thank you.